So my trades for Tuesday and Wednesday, I took 3 trades. All of them were wins. Got my account out of about $600 of drawdown, and well, all 3 of my account. And now I'm up 1,300 in each. We start on the higher time frames. This is really what I'm focusing on. So I graded this daily suspension block here. These are all the octant levels. And Tuesday's trading, we went down into it during my trade. So I'll go down. Coming into Tuesday, this was a hourly or 30-minute, I believe. Yeah, it was like a double hourly gap that we were respecting. And then, okay, so ES, as you can see, cleared out all these highs and then sold off. And I was just confident in the bearish market here. I didn't need to see these highs swept out yet until the sell side was met. So on the 15-minute, if we go down to the 30-second, you can actually see my entry. Here's 9:30, opens, manipulates higher into this 5-minute gap here. And this is a sell model here. First stage distribution and stage, taking us down into this suspension block with the octant levels. Accidentally graded it wrong, so that's why these TPs are like slightly off the octants when I was actually doing the trade. So, but you can see a 2.7 hour trade. So what I wanted to see was this when it came out to tap this octant with the, I believe this is a 1-minute gap. Yes. So this is a 1-minute gap here, right at this octant level. And then, well, actually it's the suspension block high. And then this reaction with the CISD, we go back to the 30-second. Now on the 30-second, you can see it a little better. We had this accumulation, manipulation up into the 1-minute gap, tapping perfectly the CE of the gap and the high of the daily suspension block. And so in recent ICT recaps, I've been trying to implement this into my trading where I grade daily PD arrays and with the octants on the fib, and any low time frame PD array that happens on one of these, look for it to be respected. And as you can see, all of them get beautiful price action down. So I entered on this candle after we tapped the CISD and started displacing again. It was a beautiful entry. Went in with 3 contracts. TP'd my first one, this 1-to-1. My second one at this octant, which is actually consequent encroachment. And then my final TP was, or I'm sorry, my final TP was the CE. One thing I wanted to point out, this trade, you could see that if I go back to the 1-minute, I go back to this trade here, is a PD array where the candle that makes it, this second candle in the 3 candle pattern here, making the value gap. And actually, is this a volume imbalance? The close is 35.25 and the open is 35. So yeah, so that's a volume imbalance there and there. You can see that's on the octant level. And notice the bodies. It wicks up again. The bodies stay below in level as soon as it hits the bearish PD array. So that's pretty precise right there. And then same thing going down. Comes up. It's it. Bodies stay below. Continues to sell off. I mean, that's just beautiful price. Was the trade that I took on Tuesday. I made $613 in each account on that trade. That got me out of all my drawdown. I think it was up like $70 in each account after that. Now, if we go to today's trading, starting off on the daily, still have this suspension block graded. I'm watching the octant levels, and you can see that we traded up into this volume imbalance, which is a suspension block, the lower volume imbalance there, sold off, and then we came just short of the daily suspension block here. But we traded into this order block. And so you see how the body respected that and then traded down. And then the next day it traded down into the suspension block here. And then today it's been inside it all day. And on ES, I created these two wicks. Yesterday's wick low, or low wick and high wick. And so you can see if I go down into the 1 minute now on ES, I haven't even looked at this yet today, but in terms of what it actually did once I was in my trade, but I'm sure it's pretty awesome. But we ran up higher into that previous day wick, hold off, and look at this. Once we start selling off, there's an imbalance there. Goes right back up, body stay below, wicks up again, hits it, fails, accumulation, hits it again, and it gets right up into that volume imbalance, boom, which that is insane. And that was the last thing it needed to break lower, and breaks lower, takes out the sell side, and then it trades right into this, comes back up, trades back into these lows, and also the volume imbalance on the level of the daily wick. Huge sell-off, massive sell pre-market. And it puts us in this kind of floating area where between the two daily PD arrays, and we're kind of chopping around, whatever. And we sell off, come back down into here. This is some sort of higher time frame PD array. Let me see. Oh, it's just a 5 minute. But we respected this 5 minute, hit the order block here, sold off, came down, outside, was taken, and then these options were hit. Go back on the 1 minute, see what ES did before getting into my actual trade. So right at market open, we sold off, hit one of these octants, was back up into it. Oh, what does it trade to? Perfectly to the tick. Order block. Order block. Gap on the octant. So, sells off. Trades back, takes it out. Wicks up. A little volume imbalance here. Sells off. It is just printing beautifully. But anyway, that was ES. It's kind of cool to look at how it reacts to the different levels of the daily PD raise. But now, this is the same daily suspension block I've been talking about. I took 2 trades today. Well, my original idea was come up into this 30-minute gap here. We did. And either I was using that as my condition, either we were just going to run through this gap and take out this LR above, which honestly I didn't need to see happen because we already traded into, we've been bearish on the higher time frame anyway. Came down, back up into this 30-minute, and then if we go down to the 2 minute, this is where I was originally looking for my entry. I was looking for extra confirmation after this, so here's the tiny 2 minute inversion. Could have entered right around here, or here, depending on what you want to do. And then EP, maybe down at this low, would have given you a 1-to-1, or maybe even at this low would have given you a 1-to-1 through this one. Probably close, somewhere around there. But I wanted a little more confirmation. I didn't like how that was, it just wasn't enough confirmation for me to enter. So what I did was went down to the 30-second, maybe the 1 minute. Let me turn on my executions. I can't remember. Okay, yeah. So I had taken a short and got break even earlier. Then I sold. I was risking kind of heavier here on this 2 minute inverse. I did end up taking it there. I waited, and during all this, I was taking a lot of heat. And so when it was bouncing around here, I took a couple contracts off. And so I was left with just three by the time it actually distributed. I still, I think I made about $100 on that one, or maybe 800. I think 800. Let me see. Oh, well, it won't say. I'd have to add it up. But either way, I think maybe 700. When I saw we broke below this low, I went break even. TP'd a 1-to-1 at just one of my three contracts that I had left. And my second TP was here at this low. And my final TP was going to be down at this low. But I was trailing my stop, and I ended up getting stopped down here. So that's where my final contract was taken off. Still a really good trade. I noticed after that, we opened up a 5 minute gap, and I believe it might have been a 15 minute. We traded into it, but opened up a 5 minute gap here, traded up into it. And I was looking for an inverse out of it, continuation short down to the equal lows, relative equal lows here and here. And so that's what I did. We go back on the 30-second. So we had this manipulation leg up here, 30-second, and I took it one candle late after the change in state, just for some extra confirmation. Because in the past, I've gotten kind of wrecked on these type of trades where there's higher time frame gaps, but it has a lower time frame, like a 30-second or a 15-second or a 1 minute manipulation leg at the very end with a gap in it. And so I just wanted to see it really confirm with, and I love the displacement here. It made this low around for a little bit, but as you can see, this has been game changing for my trading. We have this volume imbalance here, here, and this is bearish. And it's bearish on the daily octant level. And actually, yeah, the third octant, but I mean, it doesn't matter what octant it is. Oh my gosh, we'll talk about that in a second. Volume imbalance. And let's see the 1 minute. That's really the visualizer of this. Boom. 1 minute volume imbalance. Comes up into it. Just barely. Doesn't even reach the octant. Shoots down. So, like, all of this is confirming these draws are going to get smashed. And as you can see, comes up, dumps down. But these PD arrays on the octants have been game changing. On the daily PD array octants, the low time frame PD arrays are just insane. Same thing here. So even though, well, just the inversion model obviously says, okay, the sponsored 5 minute gap and send you lower. That's a valid entry. The inverse, right? So we traded up. We left the draw lower. We left this final low lower here. We created another low. So now we have relative equal lows. Traded up into a 5 minute. An inverse, the manipulation leg up here. But we traded into 1 minute gap on the octant. Look at that. Boom. Right here. And what else is there? An order block right there. And look at this. Oh, what do we have here? To the absolute tick. You grade the wick of this order block. As soon as it hits consequent encroachment, it never looks back. This is just, this is, this is great. And this feels like alarm bells going off in my head because I've never been able to interpret price like this, but just it makes so much sense to me using these levels. Same thing here, boom. And it's not even that I'm using them to enter the trades, I'm using them to manage my live trades and trail my stop, or say, okay, now that we've made this PD array on an octant, I'm gonna lower my risk. I'm gonna maybe even put it at the volume imbalance high. And just like that, I cut my risk over half. And that is the difference. But that is insane. Anyway, that is insane. But then we go down and look, break even here. And this was my first TP, a 1-to-1. My second TP at this low. My third TP at the final low. And as you can see, we have literally delivered all the way down through this suspension block on the daily chart. Prime example, let's just go through. I haven't even looked at this before, but let's just go through. Bodies. That has nothing to do with it, but here. Gap. What do we do? And what do the bodies do? Look at that. Come up. It's in an octant. Come up. Bodies respect the encroachment of the gap. Sends us lower. What do we form? We form a volume imbalance here. That actually might be a suspension block. I don't know. Yeah, it is. That's a suspension block. We trade up into it here. And we tick the octave. Or the octant, I mean. That is insane. Clear these out. I'm gonna trade up. We take out sell side, break above the short-term high. Down close candles. What is that? That's an order block right here. Boom. What do? We create a gap as well as the order block on an octant. Comes down, trades into this, basically ticks it, and rips higher. Targeting there. If you took this and just put your stop at the fair value gaps low and took profit at this high, 1 to 3 RR, order block, and it came up to this, and it won't print the bodies. Yeah, it's respecting that. And then what do? We hit this order block here. That's a slower to the order block there. But where's the real objective? Because we cleared the major sell side. Here. And look what we do. We come right up. Oh, we failed. That's okay. Come right back down. What did we trade into? Order block. Volume imbalance. Where is that? On an octant. Finally pushed us up to the short-term buy side there. On an octant. Fell off. Broke above a high. Broke below a low. Sell model here. Come up. Volume imbalance. Where is that at? That's an octant. Trade back down. Failed to distribute, so we need more. Come back up. Where does that go? Boom. Order block right here. Immediately sends us lower. Take out where? Sell side. And what does that trade us into? Order block. Where did we go up to? Order block. But we're respecting the octants. Sell side. Well, come down. Imbalance here. Or gap here. Expecting the midpoint sends us lower. Back up. Didn't have enough juice. Relative equal lows. Back up. Where do we go? Gap. Short-term buy side here. What's here? Order block here. Look at the bodies. Respecting. Shoots right down. Next octane level. Come back up. Boom. Sends back down. And what is that? Order block right there. Candle. Below. To the tank. This is just beautiful. So this has completely changed how I'm looking at the markets now and things to move on the low time frames. And I've been loving it. And I'm still using the same, couple entry models that I learned from like a continuation, a Mac thing. So those were the trades of the day. And hopefully we can get these accounts passed. Well, just taking good quality setups like these and keep getting good price action. And that's it.